Okay, hello everyone, anyone, no one at this current moment in time. So, just thought I'd go live, impromptu. No real reason, just why not? Not doing much at the moment, so I thought let's go on, see if anyone's about, and talk film, TV, comics, whatever, anything that goes on in the world. My wife's at work. I'm here at home, not doing anything. What have I done today? I haven't done a lot. What have I watched? Star Trek Prodigy. That's all I've watched this morning. A couple of hours ago. I didn't even realise it was back on, but it is. Cup of tea in hand there, in the old trusty Jaws mug. So, like I said, I don't know. People are normally at work at this time. I'm usually at work at this time. I should be. Should have been in a meeting earlier, but I'm not. I didn't. There we go. Just answering a text message. But yeah, so I watched Black Adam last night. Saw Black Adam. Did do a review for it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. Yeah, not a bad film at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here quietly and mince around on my phone instead of talking to myself. If someone comes in or anyone comes in, then I'll talk to them. If they don't, then I'll bugger off out of it because I don't want to be talking to myself, which I am. So let's have a look. I'm in Amazon, or I'm on Amazon Germany at the moment. I had 2 films on order. I were expected, well, the package may be lost. I don't know if that shows up. Your package may be lost. So I've been given a refund on that. Whether they eventually do show up, there was a problem at customs with them, apparently. And that was for John Carpenter's Vampires and this other one. What's the English title of it? Kurt Russell, Madeline Stowe, and Ray Liotta. I can't remember the English title. There we go. So, yeah. So I'm just going to mosey on through on my phone here for a minute and see if anyone wants to chat and ask some questions. Get into a nice little friendly discussion. Let's have a look at what's happening in the world. Top Gun Maverick there. Top Gun Maverick, I will be getting that. Symphony. I don't know what that is. That's some sort of a horror film. I don't know where's the camera. Camera's there, yes, of course. Let me switch this around. Let me turn this around so the camera is on that side. That's better for me. Yeah, so what's this? Symphony, Amazon Web Rip. Is this film any good? I don't know. Don't look like my cup of tea at all. Stella Stocker, Haley Bishop, Michael Pearson. Don't know anyone in it. What's this? Amazon Web. The Octo Games. The Octo Games. That doesn't look like a rip-off of... what's that? You know, that... My mind's gone blank now. You know, the Cracker Games, or whatever they call it. My mind's gone blank. They're doing a second season of it. You know, the one that was a big deal. Okay, so Titans Season 3 has got a Blu-ray release just in the United States. I have that on pre-order and it has posted. It has shipped. Doom Patrol Season 3 is out soon. 15th of November, I think, in the States on Blu-ray. We don't get them on Blu-ray over here, which is highly unfortunate. Money for nothing. see what else there is. So if anyone, well, there's only one person not watching anyway, but if you've got any questions, please put them down. I'm just moseying on through the phone and seeing what's what. Don't Worry Darling. The film Don't Worry Darling, I started watching the other day, but I switched it off. Couldn't get into it. Oh, Ticket to Paradise. Oh, missed out on that. Jordan Clooney and Julia Roberts. I want to watch that one. Ticket to Paradise. That might be my viewing tonight. Where's it gone? It's gone. There we go. That film. Julia Roberts, George Clooney. Can anything go wrong with that? A divorced couple teams up and travels to Bali to stop their daughter from making the same mistake they think they made 25 years ago. 6.4 out of 10. Comedy romance, George Clooney, Sean Lynch, Julia Roberts. I'll watch that. Yeah, lighten the mood a bit. Romantic comedy. Like I said, last night I did see Black Adam, which was fun. It was a good film. Let's have a look here. What's this film here? Now, Bruce Willis, still like Bruce Willis films coming out. But the title of this film just gets me. The title of this film gets me. Take a look at that. Matt's messaging me. Detective Night Rogue. Detective Night Rogue. You know, that sounds like they've just picked 3 random words out of a top hat and run with it. Or is he Detective Night? I don't know. And he's gone rogue. I don't know. Bruce Willis stars as... I've lost it. Hiya, Owen. How are you keeping, mate? Yeah, I'm good. I just thought I'd come on and talk nonsense for an hour or so. You know. So, yeah, Detective Night Rogue, Bruce Willis. I don't know. It's difficult watching him on screen. And then I did try it. Oh, I lost it. Bruce Willis stars as veteran detective James Knight. Okay, well, that answers it. He is Detective Knight, and obviously he goes rogue. Dedicated to navigating the demanding streets of Los Angeles in this thrilling first of a trilogy. First of a trilogy of films. Okay. As the city prepares for Halloween, mask-wearing armed robbers critically wound Knight's partner in a shootout following a heist with Knight in hot pursuit. The bandits free LA for New York, where the detective's dark past collides with his present case, threats to tear his world apart unless redemption can claim Knight first. 3.5 out of 10. Wow, a trilogy with Bruce Willis. Now, I will say, I started watching this film the other day. Slayers, with Thomas Jane in it. And it was awful. It was really bad. And it wanted to be Zombieland kind of thing with vampires, but it had a group of influencers in it, and you've lost me at influencers anyway. You know, go out and get a proper job instead of other people paying for you just by watching you. You know what I mean? Go and get a proper career or something. But Thomas Jane was all right in it, and his character was pretty good. Now, another film that I watched, and you may have seen my review for it, and that was Pearl. Now, I wasn't going to watch Pearl. I don't know what was my phone there. Pearl. Now, I wasn't going to watch it because I didn't like X at all. Didn't like it. Horrid film, in my opinion. And my missus wanted to watch Pearl. She said, let's watch Pearl. I was like, must I? All right, I'll sit there. You put it on. I'll just sit up or doze off. And I really liked it. I thought it was really good. Better than X, most definitely. Proclaiming llamas. He wants me to block him. Will J admit he's wrong and redo his Schindler's List review? Admit I'm wrong about what? what am I wrong about? That I was bored when I was watching it. So what? What's the big deal? He's on about the Mandela effect. I get that every time I think he uploads a video. Well, don't watch then. You know. The thing is, right, is that you got to hold a mirror up to yourself, bud, because you're watching all my stuff. You don't like me. You don't like me at all, which is fair enough because, you know, I'm pretty sure that we wouldn't get on in the real world anyway. But you want to come on and you watch my stuff. You actively follow me. A little bit stalkery, very stalkery, in fact. But I will thank you for keeping me alive in other chats when I'm not even there. It's doing wonders for the channel. You know what I mean? I'm a very argumentative guy. I wouldn't say I'm argumentative. I say I've got an opinion, and if it doesn't fall in line with other people's, then I'm not going to change it for the sake of sheeple. What's my thoughts on Avatar 2? 10 years too late. What do you want me to say? Yeah, I'm not a fan of Avatar 1. Don't particularly like it. Done wonders for the industry with regards to 3D. Yes, it did. But as a film, it's very generic storytelling. It was done better with Dances with Wolves. And if I ever think of Avatar, my mind goes to Dances with Wolves, and I'd much rather give that a watch instead. With Avatar 2, will I see it? Well, my wife thinks we're going to go and see it, so inevitably I'll be dragged off to see it. The only thing I hope for is that James Cameron has done wonders with 3D. He's given us something different technically than what, you know, that moves things forward, which I'm sure he has worked on, and that's why it's taken so long. There we go. What do you want me to say? The trailers don't do nothing for me. Hi AJ, I hope you and the family are good. Are you going to bring back before the MCU and DCEU? Yes, that I was doing it every 2 weeks, weren't I? And it became a bit I think every 2 weeks was a bit too much, but thanks for asking. Yes, I will bring that back. 1.46k people like what you do, so it's fine. Love the comic segments, great reviews. Thank you very much, Andrew. I very much appreciate the kind words. AJ says it how it is. Yes, I do. I remember when AJ had a dented steelbook video. Did he get his money back? Very probably. Yes, I did. And what's the problem with that? My thoughts on the government. I don't go into politics on here. Is Rishi a good PM? Again, not politically going into it. Maybe AJ as PM. Probably do a better job than you. There we go. So I'm not going to block you for claiming llamas. So, you know, you can have your moment in the sun. I'd much rather you do it here than involving other people, as you have done in previous segments. But yeah, go for it. Yeah, no, I'll go back to that, Joe. Yeah, I will bring that back. I will. Just there was a lot going on. But there we go. But yeah, you're right. 1.46k. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'm sure that's on the rise. The thing is, I did have a plan. You know, I sort of decided to do. I was toying with the idea of YouTube about a year before I actually started. And I said to myself, you know, if you're going to do it, you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a way of doing it and stick with it. And you know, I had to lay the groundwork first. So that was done, and that was quite. And for the year, it's been very aggressive sort of push with videos. It has been, and that was all part of it. But it started with laying this groundwork, and then I had to build this foundation. And that came in the form of videos on specific days and all this sort of thing. And yeah, it's you know, it's been a good journey for the most part. Everything in moderation. Well, not really, mate. You know, I'm not the only channel out there that does it as I do it. You know, you don't have to watch, but you seem to. You seem to. Do you like clicking them downvote buttons? I usually get one on every video. Wish AJ knew that. Unfortunately, not. You know, are you still buying every two of every steelbook that comes out? But there we go. How many thingies have you set up? How many names have you set up on here to message me? Like if I ban you now, if I go in and press block user, how long will it take you to get another one set up to come back? Or have you already got them set up ready? Shall we see? Now I'll let you have a couple more comments. Go on, put a couple more comments out. You know, do you want to ask me again which one of us are on top, me or Matt? Do you remember when you asked that? Yeah. Do you remember that time when you accused me of calling you an idiot? Or I implied it. I will stick by that. Pete, how you doing, Pete? I was watching some of your chat earlier today. I was watching it. Andy was talking about some of it. Andy was talking about how he believes streaming services will implode on one another, and this sort of thing. I think that's where I got up to before I stopped for the rest. I think that's quite close to the end, though. But 4 hours, mate. Wow, that's long. That's very, very long. How can you do it for 4 hours a week? How can you do that? I don't, you know, I struggle with the 2 hours every 2 weeks, to be honest with you. I say that when me and Matt first done it, it was about 4 hours and 20 minutes. That's why we took it down to 2 hours, because, wow, the missus weren't happy after that. I said I'd only be on for a couple of hours, and I ended up being on 4 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, it was a great stream, Pete. It was a great stream. What happened to 4K Chef? I don't know if I missed that bit at the beginning. And your other co-host, I forget. Oh, actually, he's away, isn't he? He's away somewhere. You getting Top Gun on Monday? I'll be getting Top Gun at some point. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it. I think I've got it on pre-order somewhere. Oh, here we go. Pre-order. There's a word that Proclaiming Llamas likes to jump on. So it will come at some point, Pete. Are you getting it, Pete? I'm looking. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I need some context for that one, mate. Oh, because I said I'll give you a couple. I'll give you a few more before you. Well, no, proper questions. I'll let you have some questions. You know, I'll be fair to you. I'll be fair. Come on. You like jumping on the Schindler's List one, don't you? Because I didn't like the film, or the film bored. I think it was I didn't like the film. The film bored me. I need to watch it again at a time when I'm in the proper mood for it. But I mean, you're probably one of these individuals that think that, you know, your whole knowledge of history comes from film, doesn't it? It probably comes from that. Whereas I actually studied history at college, you know, and outside of the film, I did do stuff on Oskar Schindler, because World War II was kind of my sort of historical era that I focused upon. So I don't need to watch a film to I don't need a film to tell me my history. What is on the Halloween list on the 31st? Any thoughts? Do you mean for me? Am I doing anything on the 31st of Halloween? I'm not. No. I do have a video on Saturday morning as to why I've not done anything Halloween-esque as such on the channel. It's a difficult one for me. isn't Highlander coming out on 4K in a few weeks? So many releases just lately, hard to keep up. Highlander is coming out. Yes, is that this Monday? Matt's in. Hi, Matt. Is Highlander this Monday? Again, something I've got on pre-order. Really looking forward to it. Love Highlander as a film, and I love. I like Highlander as a concept. I've got all the films. I've got the TV series. I love the TV series of Highlander. Once it got past its first season into its second season, in the first season it was very much Immortal of the Week kind of storytelling. And then in the second season, the show just hit the ground running, and it was a lot darker. It had a narrative direction. It was risky in what it'd done with characters. It was a really good TV series, you know. And I have other thoughts on the Highlander franchise films. You know, I get a lot of enjoyment out of them, even the bad ones, well, except for Highlander the Source. But nothing beats Highlander, the very first one. That's, you know, there can be only one, and that is it. But as a concept, I think it's a very romantic idea of someone who lives down through the ages and has to watch their loves grow old and die around them and move on, and you're stuck with that. It's very, very, yeah, that sort of storytelling is very sort of compelling. I think that's a bit why I like Captain America as well, because it's that similar sort of a thing about it. Well, he's not immortal, but where he slept for 70 years, he comes along and he has to, you know, it's that romanticism behind it. It's so strong, so strong. Matt says, good afternoon. I said, Matt's in. Gareth, hi Gareth, how you doing? Matt, yes, Highlander's out Monday. Matt just had his COVID booster. Which one was it, Matt? Was it, what one was it? What one did you have? Where's my phone gone? Yes. Is there anyone who I have got here? Wait a minute. Yeah, Matt. What COVID? Oh, Pfizer. Matt had Pfizer. All right. Cool. Hold on 1 minute. And yes, I will. Ignore it. Thank you for the message. Anyway, where are we at? Sorry, people. I'm trying to send a quick message, and I just can't do it. I can't do it. I'm looking for it. There we go. Yeah, so where was I at? Sorry. So Matt had Pfizer. Let me jump back up. Good afternoon, Gareth. Yes, had my COVID booster. Hi, Pete. Hi, Gareth. Hi, Matt. Everyone's saying hello to each other. Notice Bullet Train is £12 on DVD and $16 on Blu-ray. Hope Sony isn't trying to push the standard price up for releases like they did with... It was only a matter of time, Pete. It was only a matter of time. I saw that somewhere else. Someone else said that. That might be Matt who said that to me. I can't remember where that came from. But there was a... I did hear that the prices had gone up. That's all right. Just give it 2 weeks, and that £16 will be £12 for the Blu-ray in CEX. Hey, Matt and Gareth. But yeah, it was inevitable that was going to happen, and the other companies may well follow suit afterwards. Hey, Matt and Gareth. Hi, Pete. Good morning from the States. Bob's Blu-rays. How are you, Bob? Hope you're keeping well, mate. Have you picked up anything good lately? Got any good releases out there come your way? That's it. I said Matt had already said about Pfizer. That's good. So yes, side effects. Is this your first Pfizer, Matt? Yeah. How many is that in a year now that you've had? There's a lot in it. I'm just replying to the wife. Yes, I won't. Yeah, so yes, none yet. No side effects. So you had it this morning. Did you go to bed late last night, Matt? Was it a struggle? Did you struggle getting to sleep? That's the question. Because Matt was on Pete's chat till, when was it? 11:30. 11:30. Yeah. And if you went straight to bed after, you haven't had that sort of downtime, that sort of time to relax. You've got all this stuff running through your head. Third one, over 50 now. Matt's getting old, he says. I grabbed Nope and the newest Shout Select title, The Last Detail. Haven't seen that one, though. Okay, yeah. Is Nope out in this country yet? I don't know. I started watching it and I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into it. I'm not a fan of... what's the director's name again? Jordan Peele. I'm not a fan of his films. I watched... what was it? Get Out. I watched Get Out. That was all right. All right. It was just all right for me. I watched Us, but I just don't... There's something I don't like. I didn't like his Twilight Zone either. I tried watching the Twilight Zone that he'd done, and I think I watched the first series at least. I'm not sure if it had 2 seasons, I think. I don't think I watched the second. I just can't get to grips with him as a filmmaker. His stuff doesn't work for me. But yeah, Matt's saying he's getting old. We're all getting old, mate. We're all getting old. There comes a point in your life where when you realise that what is in front of you is less than what's behind you, it's quite sort of a daunting thing, really. And that's the point at which you probably have the midlife crisis when you realise that. I like your live chats and you with other people like Matt versus Movies. You like to do a live chat with either Big Paulie or anyone else. Just great. Big Paulie did invite me on for a live chat, actually, but I had to blow out, unfortunately. This was a month, 6 weeks back, because it turned out to be one of the only weekends when I could get together with my 3 children. Because my 3 kids, you know, they're I say they're grown up now. They're like 17, 22 and 20 or something like that. I can't remember their bloody ages. And getting them all together in one go, you know, because they've got their own lives, they've got their jobs. Daughter's at university, well, it's not university yet, she's at college studying law, criminology and sociology. And so getting everyone together with their respective partners, it's a nightmare. So it came to light that the only time I could get together with them was on this day that I was invited on this chat with Big Paulie. I like to blow out because at the end of the day, family comes first. But you know, Paulie, I'd go live with Paulie. You know, he messages me at times, more so privately than on the videos. He watched my thingy video, Defending the Dud, Ghostbusters, episode 1, and suggested I do Battlefield Earth as one. You know, that John Travolta sci-fi movie, which I haven't seen for decades. Gareth says Peele is way overrated. I cannot argue with that. I do think Jordan Peele is overrated. Yes, he's yeah, that's okay, Matt. He is somewhat overrated, I will say. So I was saying at the beginning of this chat that tonight I am going to treat myself. I'm going to sit down and watch telly. And I'm going to watch the Ticket to Paradise, George Clooney and Julia Roberts movie. Has anyone seen that? I'm going to watch it. And no doubt I will give my thoughts on it. And I have surprised some people because I watched, like I said, in one day, I watched Barbarian and Pearl back to back. Literally back to back, probably about half hour between the two. And I enjoyed both of them. And horror's not my forte, as people may well know. So anyone, come on, throw some questions at me. Anyone got any questions? Just let's keep this going with questions. I don't want to ramble on. Let's see what's going on here. Quantum Leap, a huge disaster as ratings collapse big time. Quantum Leap loses 200k viewers. That's a shame because the latest episode of Quantum Leap, episode 6, was pretty damn good. Strongest episode of the series thus far, I thought, if anyone's interested in the Quantum Leap remake. It was some nice tight storytelling, even though it was in a big, it was set during an earthquake that happened. It was a nice sort of character, small story, and there was time on their, on the back of them, so they had to get to somewhere in a certain place. It was that sort of nice tight storytelling. Despite being okay, I'm going to do these videos a bit out of these questions, a bit out of order now. So if you think I've missed your question, I haven't. Despite being British, what's your favourite Thanksgiving movie? Okay. There's only one, and it could go as a Christmas movie as well, and that is Planes, Trains and Automobiles, the greatest Thanksgiving movie ever. I don't know any other Thanksgiving movies. Geek Legion of Doom says, what's my favourite box set? Oh, we're talking film box set, yeah. That's a toughie. I would say my favourite box set is the Star Trek 1 to 10 box set that I actually bought on the back of seeing Matt's one, which is in the white box, and it's pretty damn big and thick. And you take out a book, and it's much like the James Bond one that you get, where you got a big book, and they're all in there. There's lovely disc art on each of the discs. There's lovely stuff that comes with it. And I won't run upstairs and grab it because I'll be gone for a minute. But that is, fantastic release. What's yours? What's your favourite box set? So then Matt asks, how long do you see physical media lasting? I'll look into my crystal ball. That look a bit sexual when I'm rubbing that. I don't know. But anyway, looking into my crystal ball here. 7 years, 8 months, 3 days, 17 hours and 26 minutes. There we go. No, that's not. That's a... me and my missus went out and we went picking holly and berries and that. We went to the woods. We took dog over, not my dog. We was babysitting a dog, puppy sitting. We took the dog to this wooded area, and we took a knife with me, and I was cutting down holly and berries. And then what my missus is gonna do is she's got this clear resin stuff, and she's gonna make some spheres that are clear, and the holly and the berries are then inside the clear sort of resin spheres for Christmas. Just for my missus does things like that. She likes doing these sort of artistic little. She gets into these artistic little vibes. She's really good, She's I'm really bad with DIY. I'm not very good at DIY at all. But my missus is fantastic with it, which is fantastic for me because I don't have to do any. She does it all. She don't like me doing it because my DIY is sort of I can fix everything with duct tape. I'm a duct tape person. In my car, I've got to have duct tape. I carry duct tape around with me wherever I go. It's great for first aid as well. Oh wait, so Geek Legion of Doom says, my favourite box set is the Blade Trilogy set, which has the 3 films, an Action Man-sized figure of Blade, and a comic. It's a Japanese exclusive. I've never seen that. Have you shown that in a video? I'm gonna have to look at it. I'm gonna have to search that one up. That sounds really good. I've not seen that set. You know, I've got sets that came with. I do get. I that came with statues and things like that. Suicide Squad, Batman versus Superman, and all this sort of thing. Blade complete box, he says. Andrew Barry says, always thought, what do you do for a job? Must be shifts or something. Okay, I can't reveal what I do for a job. Do I do shifts? No, not really. I generally sort of start about 5 or 6 a.m. And then finish rather early. I'm not a milkman. I finish at 6 a.m. Now I start at 6 a.m. But to be honest with you, I can do my job at any time of day. I've got the freedom to do it really whatever time I want to go in and do it. It can be done. This Sunday just gone, I was in Sunday. I rarely do Sundays. I'll go in on the Sunday. Sometimes I have to stay away for work. I've stayed down in, I've run projects down in places like Exeter and things like that for weeks on end. Yeah, it gets me about. Not so much these days. It's more behind a desk, but I can do it any time of day, and I've got certain freedom with it to do it whenever I please. As long as the work gets done, it doesn't matter where I do the work. That's all I can really say. I've got a Blade Trinity collection video, and I show the set in that. Okay, I'll search that one up. That sounds really good. Yeah, I used to do shifts. I used to do shift work back in the day. A lot of it was very night work. But yeah, not so much now. I managed to get away from that. Night and weekends, I managed to get away from that and get Monday to Friday, which is fantastic. It's only 35 hours a week, again, which is great, 7 hours a day. So you can see that if I start at 6, I'm done by 1 because I work through. I don't stop for lunch. I just work through it. Sometimes I'm in at 5 o'clock. I live in London, but if there is, if they do need me to go in on nights, I'll go in on nights. If they need me to get somewhere down country, for 5 in the morning or something like that, then I'll head down there for 5 in the morning. Whatever is required with the work. Do you think HMV will last on the high street, moving it into merch, etc.? No, I don't. Especially considering that we're moving into sort of recession era, and people have got to be tight with their money with everything that's going on. So the last thing people are going to be interested in buying is the sort of stuff that HMV are selling. I mean, obviously I don't want to see HMV go under. It's great they're opening new stores in places. That's really good. But I don't know. The action figure side of it. How many people, because you don't buy these action figures that they sell, the Marvel and DC stuff. I know, because as you know, I pick them up, I buy them, and they're expensive. They are expensive. I bought She-Hulk the other day, based on the TV series She-Hulk. That was a Forbidden Planet pickup, and it was over 20 quid. Now, these are not for kids, are they? These are for adult collectors. These are not aimed at children. You're not going to buy a kid a £22 action figure and say, here you go, take that and play with it. So you're aiming this at a specific type of person, a specific type of collector. I don't know. I mean, I even see, you know, down the line, I don't know how many years, 5 years, whatever, CEX stopping with DVD. I don't think they've got any choice but to stop with it because, all right, number one, who's going to take their DVD? Yeah, they give you 1p for a DVD, right? They give you 1 pence for a DVD. So who in their right mind is going to walk into CEX with a bag of 100 DVDs, say, here you go, I'll wait here while you do what you do with them for an hour and you give me £1 back? You're not gonna. So in turn, you know, the influx of DVDs going into CEX is going to drop. The amount of people buying the DVDs are going to drop because sales are dropping. Do you know what I mean? So it's this like the vicious little circle that you're caught in. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of it stopping. You know, even Blu-rays now. Christ, some of the Blu-rays they'll only give you a penny for them. Why would you take you know, for a penny? I'd rather keep them. Or give them. You know, if you've got to get rid of them, you get rid of them to a charity shop because you just go and drop them off and come out. I've seen people leave their DVDs in CEX because he said, you know, when he found out they're only giving him a penny for each one, he said, it's costing me more money on parking than what it is what I'll get. If I wait around, it costs me more on parking than what I'll get back from you. So here you go, see you later, and left them behind and walked out. People saying even games are struggling now. What new games is that? Or are console games going digital? Well, when you think about it, games have been digital for quite a while, really. This is my take on it anyway. And as I've said, when you buy a physical game, the disc is little more than a key to that game, because it ain't like you put that game in and away you play. You know, a lot of games anyway. You know, so I go out. You know, hypothetically speaking, I don't play games. I don't buy games. I go out and I buy the latest Call of Duty. I'm going on back what my kids do and what I remember used to happen with them. And so I've got the disc. I put the disc in. I've now got to download 80 gigabyte of information. So what is that disc if nothing more than a key to that information? It's nothing. It's just a key. But there we go. Digital's the way. Hey AJ, hope you are keeping well. Watched Terrifier 2 last night. Very gory FX, but that's about it. Okay, now Terrifier 2. I haven't seen it. I've heard murmurings about it and people talking about it. Now, am I to believe that all of the effects in this are physical, as in real? They're not CGI'd. They're actually done, you know what I mean, as like old Gorefest sort of films would do. Which, if that's the case, I'm not saying I'm interested in the film, but hats off to them for going back to that sort of old style of filmmaking, which is great. You know, you know, I love model work in films. I love a model. I think models look fantastic on screen. You know, like the Star Wars films when they used, you know, models were used, and what else? I mean, think about, okay, Independence Day. Independence Day is a fantastic example of this, right? Now, Independence Day came at us in the sort of like mid to late 90s, didn't it? I believe. I'm getting old. My dates might be wrong. Was it 96? It might have been 96. And it's at that era where CG was sort of very much in its infancy. So it done a mock-up of both CG and model work. A lot of it was model work, and they look fantastic. They still hold up today. You know, the explosion of the White House and the buildings and all that, all model work, and it was just accompanied by a CGI to enhance it. It looked fantastic. I think there's a lot of I think CG is going into a lazy period. I think it's going into a lazy period. When you take a look at like the visual effects in, say, 2008's Iron Man, and compare them to the visual effects in, you know, a modern Marvel MCU film, almost cartoony in comparison. There we go. So Terrifier 2 effect was 95% practical. Do you know what? I would consider watching it just for that reason, just because of that practical reason, and see what, you know. And that's the thing with when they made The Thing, the remake of The Thing, from 10 years ago, or however long it was. Originally done it practical, didn't they? But then they decided to CGI it, and I'd love to have seen the practical, it done as practical. Rich says, yes, the effects were all practical, I think, and they were very well done too. Very Tom Savini-esque. Yeah, there's that side of it, sort of, you know, it's a lost art, isn't it? It's a lost art. As a sort of race of as a human race itself, we do forget how to do things. I mean, you have a progression in technology and whatnot. For example, let me throw out to you the moon landing, right? The moon landing. I'm not going into conspiracy theories, but what I'm saying is when you look at that module lander that landed on the moon, it looks awful, doesn't it? It looks crap, you know, and you're thinking, hold on a minute, how can you get, from today's perspective, how can you get that to the moon? But they've done it, right? But that technology is now lost to time because technology is advanced, right? So the way that they done it back then, no one would be able to do that again now. It's the same with the building of the pyramids. There's a certain loss in you know, a loss of how to do stuff because you become reliant on other means, and you just lose that altogether. Thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? Okay, I like the Ant-Man franchise. I think the first two Ant-Man films are very good. I watch them often. I think they're for me, they're very high up in the entertainment quality within the MCU. A lot of fun, thoroughly enjoyable. Looking forward to the third one. I'm so happy Ant-Man has got a third film coming. That being said, there's always a but, isn't there? When they go into the quantum realm, I'm not overly sure on it. It looks like I'm looking at a Guardians of the Galaxy film at that stage. And when they're showing these like cities of people and beings in the quantum realm, it becomes harder to process in my mind that there are, you know, that there are civilizations of people. And this is just what I'm getting from the trailer. I could be wrong in the context of the story. It could go somewhere else, and that's what you're seeing. But if I'm to believe that these people, these civilizations are living within the quantum realm, that there's minuscule little civilizations, it's stepping into a sort of territory that I don't know. I'm not too sure about. I'll be honest, if that makes sense. I like the idea of the quantum realm being this sort of realm where it's an uninhabited realm. So to speak, as opposed to human-like-esque people running around. But there we go. But I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be quite comedic. I do like the Ant-Man films, so I'm looking forward to it. Terrifier 2 practical effects are excellent. However, you can't replace gore effects for poor storytelling and weak plot. No, you can't. No, you can't. And that goes for, well, every sort of film now. Effects tend to be put above the storytelling and the plots, and character motivation, character growth, and all that. I wish that films would focus more on that sort of a thing. I totally agree. Matt, I thought it looked like a high-budget sci-fi channel movie. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It is very over-reliant on green screen, like I was just saying. Crappy ass CGI, green screen fest. Yes, it's Marvel films now. I hope Kang will be a good villain for Phase 5. Kang's a good comic book villain. Kang the Conqueror. He's yeah. I got no problem with Kang as long as it is that he is the Kang from the comics, as opposed to a something else. Agree. Why, if they are subatomic, why do they look human? Yeah, that's the issue I'm having. That it's like a subatomic culture of people with cities and all this sort of thing. It's yeah. Leo, would you like to join the stream? That's a good idea, Matt. We'll set that up. Matt will set that up for you. Cool. Fantastic. Well, there we are. More questions, anyone? Come on. Throw them at me. Throw me some. I'm sat here playing with this ball. Let's put that down. So, I'm going to have a look at some news. Because this is how I'm going to get talking about stuff, isn't it? Let's have a look what the website Superhero Hype is talking about. Does Ain't It Cool News exist anymore? Do you remember that? Ain't It Cool News? James Gunn and Peter Safran are now new co-CEOs of DC Studios. Wait there a minute. Alexa, what's the square root of 42?
The square root of 42 is approximately 6.4807.
There you go. There's your answer. But I will tell you this about 42. That is the answer to the life, the universe, and everything, according to Douglas Adams. NECA are doing some Gargoyles, Demona, and Bronx figures. Are they all from? Yeah, Gargoyles. Yep, yep. Henry Cavill is excited to play an enormously joyful Superman. I didn't put that question up. There you go. Sorry, I should have put that question up before I asked Alexa. I did ask for a question, yes. But yeah, Douglas Adams. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Hugh Jackman says Wolverine will be grumpier in Deadpool 3. Christopher Nolan originally did not plan to make The Dark Knight. Bryce Dallas Howard is voicing Yaddle in Star Wars Tales of the... Has anyone watched Star Wars Tales of the Jedi? Geek, you've sent me a photo of... Where did you send that? Was that on... Oh, there we go. Yes, you have sent me it. Let me just put a thumbs up for you. I don't know if you can... oh, wow. I don't know if you'll be able to see this through my horribly cracked screen, people. But there we go. That's this Japanese Blade release with a 1.6 scale figure of Blade himself. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Where's my other phone? It's horrible because you can't really see it. But my other phone is now... Look at this damage on this. This is my other phone. Look at that. So I've got two phones. All right. So that's one. Cracked to bits. And then I've done this the other day with this one. Look at that. Look at that damage. I can't even... Where's the camera? Look at that. That's when the dog ran away from me and it dropped out of my pocket. Chasing after the dog. That's fine. This phone here actually isn't my phone. It's a work issue phone. So I've actually got another new one. I just ain't bothered to set it up yet. Yeah, that looks like a really nice box. They do great releases in different territories, don't they? They really do. What do I think they could go for a story for Superman, next Superman film? I don't know really. I don't know, because yeah, you've got to take Superman into that proper comic sort of realm, haven't you? That and utilize some of the other comic characters that Superman is renowned for. You know, we haven't really had a comic book feel Superman movie. You know, the sort of Richard Donner era were very much sort of real worldish in a sense. Instead of when you went to part 3 and 4, Man of Steel, it had that sort of real world vibe to it, obviously. But I've never delved deeper into some of the other characters that Superman can do. I wouldn't. I'd be fine with Brainiac. I'd like to see. I don't think I'd do it now because of Batman versus Superman, but I would like to have seen a proper death of Superman, a proper death of Superman where the death was earned. It wasn't earned in Batman versus Superman. It was too soon for that character. All right, we all know Superman is and what he stands for and all that. But the setup in Man of Steel and then killing him in Batman, it was too early because he hadn't established himself as this big heroic icon. They needed to do that first. But there we go. Mr. Mixiplex. I don't know. The problem with Superman, and this is the comic problem with him as well, is that he's too overpowered. He's way too overpowered of a character. So nothing is really a threat to him. I'll be interested to see him go up against Black Adam, because in Superman comic lore, Superman's weaknesses other than kryptonite is magic. And the Black Adam Shazam powers are magic based. So there might be an interesting thing to come there. Very cool. I think that's to the Blade thing. Any word when the new Spawn film is due for release? No, I think they've just attached writers to it, haven't they? I've not heard. I'll be looking forward to that. And that'd be, yeah, Spawn is ripe for a remake, most definitely. Agree, Matt. Stay away from Lex and Zod. Yeah, Lex and Zod have been done. You know, there are other characters too that you can draw from. Parasite is a good villain. Parasite is a good villain. He takes on the powers of, if anyone don't know, he sort of takes on the powers and that of anything that he touches, or anyone he touches. Speaking of villains, I'd love to see Full Killer or Madcap as villains in the new Daredevil series. Yeah, who would I like to see in Daredevil? That's a very good question, because generally with Daredevil as a comic book. Okay, my greatest run, my greatest favourite run of Daredevil, not so much the Frank Miller stuff. Frank Miller was good, but it was when you had Brian Michael Bendis writing it, and then it went into the writer Ed Brubaker. Ed Brubaker being the same writer who wrote Captain America and went on to create the character of the Winter Soldier as well. All right, I know the character of Bucky existed, but he actually created the Bucky as the Winter Soldier. He created that storyline. So Brian Michael Bendis and Ed Brubaker's run of these characters was very, very dark, very gritty. And I'm not sure that it utilised villains such as Full Killer or Madcap. I can't recall. So I'm somewhat what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word I'm looking for. I know it. Ignorant. I'm ignorant. I should know this word because I've done a video on ignorance to come out soon. Maybe tomorrow morning, actually. I'm ignorant to a lot of the Daredevil sort of villains, because I only like Daredevil when he's written as a grounded sort of street level hero. When it turns to more of a brighter comic looking, you know, that embraces the red and the brightness more so, and he's with silly villains, I tend not to read. So I don't really know who I'd like in the next Daredevil series, but I'm pretty sure that the next Daredevil series will go that way, with sort of colourful villains, I guess. Sorry, I had a really bad head cold a few days ago. Came on out of nowhere, tickly throat, all that crap, coughing, sneezing. And yesterday I went into migraine mode at about midday. So yeah, just a bit there. Feel a bit there. But no, I'm alright. I'm doing good. Yeah, so I don't know. Let's see what else is happening. Shall we? Or shan't we? Well, yeah, we've got Black Panther coming soon, haven't we? Black Panther, Wakanda, Forever reactions are saying that it is a masterpiece. Perfect masterpiece. MCU's best. I'll hold judgment on that one. Do you know I never saw Black Panther at cinema. Yeah, I never saw that. I don't regret not seeing it. There we go. Madcap is more of a Captain America villain, but I think he'd be good versus Daredevil. Sin Eater is a big Daredevil villain they may use. I'm going to have to, because again, Captain America, I love Captain America as a character. It's a comic that I have read, but again, it was primarily when it's done in more of a serious manner than comic book manner. So who am I looking for? Madcap. There's so many. Marvel's got such a roster of comic book villains that it is images. Madcap is okay. Is this him? Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow, yeah. This fella, not Deadpool. Deadpool's that side. Madcap. Okay. Scraping the barrel now, aren't we? Madcap. Sin Eater. Sin Eater Marvel. Sin Eater Marvel Comics. So I'm showing my comic book ignorance here, aren't I? Sin Eater. So I found. I'm just opening it up. I know the character. Yeah, this fella. This oldie type of look of him. Yeah. It'd be, yeah, you know. There's a wealth of them, isn't there? Thoughts on the Guardians Christmas special. I really like the trailer. It worked for me. Yeah, I think that that group, that cast, just works so well off of one another. They're just really enjoyable to watch on screen. They're dynamic between all of them. I had no issue with the Kevin Bacon stuff. You know, that's been... they've earned it. They've earned the right to do that because Kevin Bacon was set up in that first one. And his love for Kevin Bacon and Footloose and all that stuff. So for them to do that, I think that's great. I think the only shame, the shame, you know, of it, not shameful, but the bit I'll say is a shame is that it just means that you won't get Kevin Bacon cast in the MCU as some other character or some villain because Kevin Bacon's really good. But yeah, it looks good. I'm hoping for a 45-minute length of it. I don't know if they've said how long it is yet. I'm hoping for that sort of length, same as the werewolf one. We shall see. What was your thoughts? Because I know, Matt, you said that you weren't too enamoured by it. What were the issues? Let me know in the comments now. Write something. Keep me going. Write something. Marvel Studios ghost actor teases awkward return. I don't know why that's awkward. I'm not going to watch it. This is video. These are video titles I'm watching, looking at. Let me go to Comic Book Cast, the website, Comic Book Cast, where they have all this stuff. Let's see what some of their headlines are. Man of Steel 2 is happening. Yeah, we know that. The Flash, Ezra Miller. What's this? Will be recast after the Flash, reportedly. That's the thing with this website is so much of it is rumor mill stuff. Ben Affleck's Batman versus Deathstroke.
With no DC fandom, this
film reportedly in development again. So the Batman versus Deathstroke film is reportedly in development again. Yeah, I won't hold my breath for this stuff. Although I've got no issue with Affleck carrying on as Batman. Kevin Feige talks Black Panther 2's Oscar chances. Oh. Do I care? Not really. Not really. I don't care. Breaking. James Gunn is done with Marvel and Disney because of the DCU stuff. Didn't grip me. Looks fun, but not sure it will be treated as canon. Breaking. The DCEU is no more. DC Studios gives universe official new name. And what's that? I think they dropped the E. So it's just DC Universe. The DCU. The MCU. Disney confirms the return of Yondu. Michael Rooker is back. Guardians 3. Inevitably, that'll be a flashback scene. The Rock says Superman versus Black Adam is not happening now or the next step. It'll happen at some point, inevitably. Henry Cavill will only be making cameos in the DCU for now. See, that's the problem with this website, right? This YouTube channel. This is so contradictory because you have one video. Here you go. Look, right. This is exactly what I'm saying. So 3 hours ago, the fellas posted a video, and they get a lot, 508k subscribers. Right, they got a lot of subscribers. So, Man of Steel 2 is happening. This is 3 hours ago. Yeah, that was posted, and then if you go back, one day, he's posting a video saying Henry Cavill will only be making cameos in DCEU for now. So it's just contradictory crap on there. It really is. Rolando Flores, hello, mate. How are you keeping? You all right? Hope you're well. We've gone very quiet on comments, which is unfortunate. So I'm just here rambling on. Now, I am in the process, right, of growing a beard. I am growing a beard. All right. I don't know if anyone's ever seen me with a full beard. Do you want to see me with a full beard? I'm going to show you me with a full beard. Maybe. I should have a photo somewhere. And I'm not growing it for Movember. I've got a photo of me when I've got just a moustache. I purposely cut the beard down, just left the moustache just for a laugh because I knew my missus would hate it. I've got bearded photos somewhere. I'm just scrolling through. I don't do this often, but there you go. Look, it's me with the kids. 2 boys and my daughter. That's a little insight into the hidden world of AJ. I can't find my bearded pics. That is highly unfortunate. They are in here somewhere. Did anyone see Jupiter last night? The planet was out on show. All right, here we go. Here we go. There's me posing for the camera, fully bearded. Probably with a little bit more hair as well. But that was a few years ago. Age gets to me. Age. There was as a young man with 2 children. Look at that. Matt's saying he finds John Campier very reliable. Yeah, I watch John Campier from time to time. Hey, Master of the Eight. I'm very well. How are you keeping? I hope you're keeping well. Anything happening? Any new pickups? Anything? Any news? I've tried many times to grow a beard, but after a week I have to shave. Too itchy. The itchiness for me comes down here. So I tend not to grow down the neck. So I sort of shave it up around here. This bit, it takes work. It takes, because you get to like this. I mean, you got to groom it daily, more than daily. You know, I brush it. I need a little comb, really. I'm not sure the brush is working, and oil it. But then you do get to that sort of scruffy stage that you have to work through before it starts looking a bit better. But I'm getting a lot more grey in it now, you know, than what I once did. But I don't mind that. I don't mind a bit of grey. Here's another photo for you. This is my eldest son with my daughter. My daughter's actually a dancer. She can do tap dance, ballet, and all that stuff. If I can find it, I have got a great photo of her. If I can find it, of her when she's performing. I've got thousands of photos. I don't know where. Here's one where I've done her for Halloween. This was years ago when she was younger. I actually done that. That was a wig she was wearing. But those zip things were really cheap. I only picked that zip thing up, little zip set up in Poundland. It looked really good, really effective. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, this is my daughter on stage. She's not on strings. That's her flying through the air like that. Very, very impressive, shall we say. And again there. She's a very talented individual. And I've got to start her driving soon. She's starting her driving in December. The only problem is she doubts herself a lot. She doubts herself. Anyway, so I'm talking about my kids, and I'm rambling on. Matt and his itchy beard there. Yeah, just grow. You got to grow through it, Matt. You got to just let it. You know, you got to fight through the itch. Like I said, under there for me, on my double bit, my double chin bit. Yeah, there we go. What else have we got? There we go. Look at that. Take them out. I had this. I ain't got it anymore. I don't know if I've ever showed it. I've done this. I took these two. I took them to paintballing once. They were very young. I took them paintballing, and it was fantastic. We got there and we set up in your jumpsuits and all that, and you had your guns, and I took photos of both of them, and they were like, you know, yeah, my daughter was there like giving it that with his gun in hand, and my son was there looking all hard, and fantastic photos. And then we only done a couple of rounds. I paid for the whole day, and then the photos of them at the end of the day with them all teary-eyed. They'd got shot. So I had this before and after photos, and they look great. Sorry. Matt says, any releases you're looking forward to getting? Tell you what I'll do. I'm going to pull up my Amazon pre-order list. This is just for, oh no, I'm in Amazon Germany at the moment. That's because I had some stuff lost in the post from Germany. I did get a refund on it. I've not picked up, Maverick will sound great with Atmos. I'm sure it will. I've not picked up much of late. There's been very little that I want or have needed. The only thing I've got on pre-order is 101 Films released for Ghostwatch. Okay. Nothing, just because there's nothing of interest coming out, or well, I guess there's nothing of interest coming out for you. Let's have a look at my pre-order, because I am at that point where I do close to doing my pre-orders for my what I'm looking forward to in November video, my monthly one. Matt remembers watching Ghostwatch on BBC. BBC didn't show it for years. Yeah, I remember it. So let's have a look at pre-order. Okay, so the Young Ones is getting a Blu-ray release with new special features and this stuff. That's as in the Young Ones, the Rick Mail, Adrian Edmondson BBC TV series. I'm intrigued by that. But at the same time, I'm worried, because will it be edited in any way for today's sensitivities? Because there's one scene I remember, and you just wouldn't, they couldn't do it today. And that's where you've got a close-up of a geezer ringing a doorbell, and he's wearing a black glove, and this other geezer approaches him with sunglasses on and says to him, he says something to him like, what are you doing? That's white man's electricity that you're wasting. Yeah. And, it's just to get a white geezer with a black glove on. And, you know, things like that sort of racist humour that you could get away with in them days, they did. Will that stuff be edited in this, or will they be the proper televised versions? That's the only concern I've got. So I've got it on pre-order, and I'm very intrigued to watch it, to see, because I'm very familiar with the Young Ones, to see if things like that have been edited out for today's sensitive audiences. Yes, December the 12th, we've got the Blade Runner, that new Blade Runner release coming out. This is so slow loading. I think that's because I'm on 4G. Let's jump onto the internet. Which is this big box set here. Another Blade Runner release, which does look nice, and I was sort of swayed. Master Date, it says, I don't think they could edit the Young Ones. It wouldn't make any sense. The episode video Nasties is brilliant. Yeah, Young Ones is fantastic. It's hilarious. It's still, it still holds up today. It is so good. So good. See, this is one that I wanted, and it's been pushed back to March now, or into February, sorry. And that's the 4K Watership Down. With the rabbits. That Watership Down, such a fantastic animated film. I did look at getting it on Blu-ray some time ago, and I never did. So I'm glad I didn't because of this 4K transfer coming. What else have we got coming? Let's have a look for November. A lot of these are December now. Oh yeah, obviously you got Highlander. Highlander coming very soon. This weekend, Monday, I should say. That Highlander release, very nice. Fantastic film. I love Highlander. I hope they don't remake it. I really don't. Do you know what? There's stuff here, but nothing that's like Robin Hood, beginning of December. This is one I'm looking forward to. It's a blind buy. Never seen it. And it is the Witchblade series. The Witchblade, what's that? An anime series. Now, Witchblade is a character. I know she's a character created by Image Comics, by a fellow called Michael Turner. I believe that was his name. They did do a TV series of it, a live action TV series of it, starring an actress called Yancey Butler, who I believe at one stage would have made a decent Sarah Connor in the recasting when they recast Sarah Connors. She played the mother in the bad kid's mother in Kick-Ass. She had a very small appearance in that. So anyway, so Witchblade did get an anime series, and I'm sort of I never saw it. Runtime 10 hours. So I'm very, very intrigued by that. See what that's done. But yeah, so I don't really know what I'm not really interested. I'm not saying not interested. Has Sickness and in Health ever got a release? Well, that would never be allowed these days. No, it wouldn't be allowed. Sickness and in Health, I don't know actually. If that ever got a release or not. Is Watership Down being released by BFI? I've got it open. Let me have a look. I'm not entirely sure who's releasing it. But let's have a look what it's got on it. Special features. Right, disc 1 is 4K UHD Blu-ray presentation in Dolby Vision. Disc 2, high definition presentation of the features plus extras. Defining the Style, 2005 short feature about film's aesthetic. Conversation with a filmmaker from 2005. Storyboard comparison, Super 8 version of the film. Trailer, TV spots, newly created optional English subtitles for the deaf and partial hearing. Newly created audio description track. Double-sided poster featuring the original UK quad and the 2022 re-release artwork. Set of 4 postcards featuring iconic scenes from the film. Perfect bound book featuring new writing on the film by Jess Stewart and Catherine Lester. Newly commissioned sleeve art by Andrew Bannister. All extras are TBC and subject to change. It is released by BFI, yes. Where am I showing it? There you go. You can just see BFI, Studio BFI on my crack screen. Yes, so that is BFI releasing that. But like I said, I think that should have been out already, and it's just been pushed back, which is a shame. Not for the pocket. Not a shame for the pocket, but it is a shame. Yeah, complete collection on DVD, £19 on eBay. Of Sickness and in Health, that is. I heard they are remaking Highlander, mate. Whoopi Goldberg is playing McLeod. Should be good. I know there's been talk of Highlander being remade in the past, and then there's Ryan Reynolds being attached to it and all this nonsense. I heard other stuff that they wouldn't go with the swords and it'd be guns and they'd be shot and I don't know. This just and thinking you just the sword fighting part of it is it delves into that sort of romanticism of it as well, because this was from an era where people would, back in the past, sword fighting, it's not as easy as, there's something to be said for two people fighting off with swords and what there is with guns and that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? That sort of dual element to it. And I know people used to duel with guns, but we're talking about today where you've got, you know, semi-automatics and crap. Highlander is one of those films that if ever they remade it, I wouldn't be happy at all. I wouldn't be happy bunny. No, even, you know, like I said, I was a big fan of the TV series. I loved the TV series after the first season. That was pretty mediocre. It was, you know, it really grew the world of Highlander and the world around them and introduced the Watchers and all this sort of stuff. And it all worked and it all made sense. And even though that's sort of like set in its own continuity, so to speak, where the quickening never happened at the end of the first film, it was still very, very good and very enjoyable. But to go and remake it now, I could just imagine it. That'd be horrible. Yeah, that's the one that Matt's found for. Is that something you're interested in then, Matt? Is that something that you would get? Blimey, it's nearly 3 o'clock. It's 10 to 3. I'm gonna end this in 10 minutes. I didn't realise it was so late. Where's the day go? Oh, where indeed? I don't know what's going on. Hold on a minute. I need to roll back through these messages because at the beginning I was giving my mate a little bit of time of day. Gave him the opportunity to ask me some questions. So I'm going to block him now. So he can come back and he'll find that that's not working. But there we go. Proclaiming llamas has been blocked. Not for me. Just remember watching back in the day. Thing is, it's like, you know, the reality is, right, you know, and you'll see it when I change my room around, or when I move into this other room, I should have space to get everything in there proper, looking good. And I've got thousands upon thousands of films. Not as many as some people, but more than others. The reality of it is when am I ever going to get to watch all them? I ain't. Never. Never. You know, maybe not even 10% of them. But then I don't want to get rid of any of them. That's the hard part. You know, because you look at it and think, and I've done it before. Where I've got rid of stuff. I have got rid of films. And then you get to a point and you're like, I wish I hadn't got rid of that. I want, you know, and you go and pick it up again. And you've got rid of it. What do you do? Does anyone else have that problem? Find that. They've got rid of something only to then think, the Wob Mob would have a heart attack if Sickness and in Health came out today. Yes, they would. And this is what we were saying. I was talking about the Young Ones getting its Blu-ray release. You know, the Rick Mail, Adrian Edmondson Young Ones. And I've pre-ordered it because I love the Young Ones. I think it's fantastic. And as soon as I get it, I'm going to watch them because I'm intrigued if there's any cuts, if there's any edits been done for today's sensitivities. Yeah. But it's interesting what you're saying about you know, Black Adam. I didn't get a wokeness from it. You know, it had some sort of it had some messaging to it, I will say, about sort of like Middle Eastern countries and, you know, people, other countries, their positions in that country as protectors, but taking their, you know, the stuff that their country has to offer, like oil and things like that. It's got sort of that sort of a messaging to it. But wokeness, in a sense, no. There's no, you know, there's nothing. It's very unwoke film. Most of, it was surprising on reflection how unwoke it actually is. It's a film. It's nice to have that sort of an element not present in a project today, and you're just watching it and you're watching a film. There we go. Hoarding or collecting, an interesting subject. When does hoarding become collecting? Is there like is there a transition line? Is there a line that you cross? Am I a hoarder or a collector? That is a subject that I shall delve into. I will say this. There was a time, maybe 3 years ago, when I sold on a lot of stuff. And not, I'm not talking films, I didn't sell films, but collectibles that I had. And some of it I really do regret getting rid of. All right. And I'm talking, I had things like, and you probably won't believe that I got rid of these if you know me and see the channel. I had a Movie Maniacs, which is at the toy line made by Todd McFarlane, figures that sort of preceded NECA, shall we say. So very, very well made looking toys. And I had an Ash from Army of Darkness, and he must have been 1.5 foot tall. Chainsaw in one hand. On one hand, you could take chainsaw off and put the little metal gauntlet on. Shotgun in the other hand, and I sold it. I had a BB gun, which was a 1-to-1 scale version, screen accurate BB gun of RoboCop's gun in the RoboCop films. Sold that. I had other Movie Maniac figures, Jason X, Little Ashes, Evil Ash, Snake Plissken from Escape from LA, all these sort of things. And I sold them on. I went mad selling stuff. And the reason that I sold it was because I was, it was kind of a tangible way of decluttering my mind, shall we say. I needed my mind completely decluttered. I needed to, and it was like, it was a physical manifestation of my mind being cleared out by me physically clearing out stuff that I'd collected. And my missus said to me, she goes to me, "You're going to regret this. Don't worry about it." I was like, "Don't worry about it. I'll just go with it. I'll sell this stuff. Don't worry, I'm not worried." There are certain bits. I had a Marshmallow Man, which was, you can't really see, I'm too far back. A yay big Marshmallow Man figure, big thing. Lovely it was. Got rid of that. I had Star Wars stuff I got rid of. Yeah, and it was just me. It was a manifestation. It was a physical manifestation of my mind being cleared and emptied of crap. There we go. I'm really careful with what I buy now. Space is a massive issue for me. I don't blind buy or pick up stuff I don't really need. I even stopped buying collector special edition because of the cost. You know, we've spoke about this before. The costs are increasing, and that collector market, those special editions, it's the same titles over and over again being released, isn't it? You know, okay, I've pre-ordered the Blade Runner one, this new Blade Runner one. But how many times do you need to get Blade Runner? You know, I certainly will not buy Star Wars again. Any Star Wars releases. Star Trek I'm done with. Unless I do 4K versions of the other four, I'll upgrade them. But do you know what I mean? You've got to draw a line in the sand. And I'd really love to see, all right, you know, there's some releases that excite me now. I like the Highlander release, the Lost Boys release they've done, the Dog Soldiers release that they've done. Right, these older films getting 4K scans, 4K transfers, and some of them look really good. Right, so those older films, but the newer stuff, and just the constant, Halloween Ends. You've got a choice of two steelbooks, two different steelbook arts. And this is a way of trying to get people to buy both of them because, comic books. Yeah, the alternate cover thing. I do that. I do get alternate covers of comic books, but to see it starting appearing on physical media releases, two released at the same time. I understand when you get one release and then a couple of years later you get another steelbook, different art, but two at the same time. Yeah, that's just mental. The costs are crazy now. I think at times we all think, when am I going to watch this again? Buyer's remorse, etc. But there is a desire to collect, to search, hunt for bargains, special editions, etc. Yeah, there is a desire, but it's so simple when you're just sat there on your phone searching. And again, going back to the comic book days, for me, used to go into a comic store and there'd be an air of excitement about it because you'd go through the boxes looking for back issues and go to conventions and you'd look through the issues. Oh, wow, I need this one. They've got it. And you'd get them like that. Now you just punch it in on eBay. There it is. Okay. So that hunt doesn't really exist so much in that sense. Yeah. But, sometimes a clear out is needed. I'm going through that now. Sorry. I don't know if that's meant to be some sort of... I'm picturing you sat on the toilet. Let's just put it that way, all right? So I don't know if it's meant to come across that way or not, but thank you for the image. We do all need a clear out at times. Ellie Ray Bowden Viva. Oh, hello. How are you? Welcome to the channel. I don't think I know you, do I? Why doesn't anything on Disney Plus? Why does anything on Disney Plus never get released on DVD or Blu-ray? Because honest answer, Disney are actively behind closed doors wants to destroy physical media. That's the only answer for it. Yes, they want to drive people to their channels, to their subscription service. I completely understand that. From a business perspective, they want to keep all their stuff in house where they've got full control of it. I understand that from a business perspective, and basically they want the death of physical media. Disney, that's reading between the lines, but it's blatantly obvious. It really is. I'll use this, and I've said this before. Case in point, you take a look at Thor: Love and Thunder. You had a 4-week gap between the streaming release to the physical media release, right? You go back a year or 6 months, and you had a simultaneous release between two films. From like whatever came before Eternals, let's say. I think that came out on the Friday, and then on the Monday you had the physical release. So very much in time with it, same time. But now you got a month between because they want you going there first. They want you going there, doing that, and not buying that. Disney now stepping into the realm of the Marvel specials, the 45-minute Werewolf by Night, the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. They're doing a holiday special, I should call it. It's only a matter of time before, give it a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it may be, I don't know. And you'll get a full-length Marvel film on Disney, made for Disney Plus. Not cinema release, Disney Plus, film length. That's the future. That's the future they want. Jamie Powell. Jamie, how you keeping, mate? Hope you're well. Thank you for showing me that the creator of resident alien is going to be up at Forbidden Planet, signing away the comic books. Great news. Yeah, the winter or the November Comic Con, London Film Comic Con again. I was tempted to go to it. I was tempted, but I don't know that I will be. I'm not sure. It's only 2 days this time, isn't it? Before it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think it's just Saturday, Sunday this time. I'm not sure. I think it becomes hoarding if you buy stuff that you will never watch. Buy stuff just because it's made by a certain company. Yeah. That. I mean, I buy a lot of stuff, and I do buy cheap things that I haven't seen for the sake of watching, because not for the sake of wrong wording. I buy cheap things that I haven't seen, because I come from younger days. You remember when you used to rent things. Christ, renting back then was more expensive than buying a £1 Blu-ray from CEX or £2 Blu-ray from CEX. So I sort of liken it to that I'm paying less than a rental for it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I totally agree. I don't get the whole I must have everything from a certain release, like Titans of Cult. I don't mind the Titans of Cult releases, but I have skipped over some because I'm not interested in them, and I won't watch them. I got no, so I won't buy all of a specific a line of releases. Although I do buy all, not a specific line of releases. I am a completist when it comes to comic book movies and films, but that's just the comic book collector in me. Very much remembering an era where comic book movies were impossible to do, nigh on impossible to do. I've got about 4 versions of The Lion King. Yeah, cool. Lion King is a decent film. Is that the animated one, I assume? Bao says, Disney don't release stuff as they want you to keep subscribing. Keep taking your money. Can't stand them. Yep. That's all it comes down to, money. And yeah. And then when they've got that control, that's when they start increasing that cost of the Disney Plus. Wait till you've got no other option. All becomes a problem when you get into debt buying for the sake of it. Not good. No. Debts. I haven't got a credit card. Credit card doesn't exist for me at all. I don't have an overdraft limit. I'm literally, when the banks offer me anything, like, nope, not interested. Don't give me an overdraft limit. I don't want a credit card. Not interested. Not interested. Good afternoon, AJ, mate. How are you doing? Very well indeed, Adrian. How are you? What's the time? 10 past. I'm still going. Look, my missus is going to be finishing work soon. I've got to go when she finishes. What do you like better, Terminator 1 or Terminator 2? Easy answer there. Terminator 1. Yes, I prefer Terminator 1 over Terminator 2. It's the one that I grew up with. I've got issues with Terminator 2. Let's just say that. I'm not saying it's not a bad film. It's a great film, and I remember my cinema trip to see it. In Greenwich Picture House. There's things with it that just I don't sit right with me. I think the pacing is off in the middle of the film. I think that the film should never have been 15. They should continue with an 18 rating, but they had to go 15 because of the inflated budget that the film had. So they had to open it up to more of an audience. I done a video, didn't I? My perfect how I would have liked to have seen Terminator 2, essentially, and how I would have made it a better film. you know, it's yeah. So Terminator 1 for me is that when I was a lad, um, watching it very young, Terminator used to scare me. It had a profound effect in that sense. The unstoppable machine coming after you, no matter what you've done, it wouldn't stop. It was relentless. The red eyes, you know. I mean, I'd remember going to bed at night and like if I had a VHS player, I did have a VHS player in the bedroom with a little TV, and the red light on the VHS player would be, do you know what I mean? Your mind is like, you know, goes to that, even though it's just one light. It just, do you know what I mean? There's that. There's this element to it that it was effective. It was an effective film for me when I was very young. It scared the crap out of me. You know, very, very scary sort of being chased by something that just won't stop, that doesn't need to, like they say in the film, doesn't need to sleep, it doesn't need to rest, it can just go and go. But you need to rest, you need to sleep. All the time you stop, it gets close, you know, it's getting closer, there's that element to it. So the film has that sort of raw, visceral type of thing to it that yeah, it's fantastic film. Terminator 2 is a spectacle. It's a spectacle of a film. I'll give it that. It's a big spectacle, and I do like it. Just there's a better version that exists in my head for me. I brought the Batman Blu-ray from HMV yesterday. Cool. Did you get that? Did you get that cheap? Was it on offer or something? Cool. I've got to do my second defending a dud video. Now, yeah, I've done my first one, which was Ghostbusters, and I failed miserably because I can't defend Ghostbusters 2016. I couldn't find a defence for it at all. There was nothing in it that I could even pretend that I could defend it with. But I'm thinking of maybe Speed 2 for the next one, and that'll be more of a defence other than me going, no, this film's crap. I can defend it and maybe sway some opinion. We'll see if we can do that. Your mum wants me to be her boyfriend. Says, who is the best 80s action star? Arnie or Sylvester? I'd have to say Arnie. I'd have to go with Arnie. Simply because I think I was more drawn towards Arnold Schwarzenegger's films during that era than I was Stallone's. It comes down to that more than anything when I think back. I love Stallone. You know, I love Stallone now. I think he's great, and I think that he's a very intelligent guy. You know, as filmmakers go, you know, Arnie's just an actor. Arnie's a star, but Stallone as an individual, you know, he's written films. He's directed, hasn't he? You know, so I've got to take my hat off to Stallone for that. I've got, you know, I think he's a better actor than Arnie, and both of them are considered poor actors. But Stallone got caught up in, you know, you got to think Stallone done the Rockies, or like Rocky in the 1970s, mid to late 70s, right? And he acted in it. He proved he can actually act when given the you know, the opportunity. But then he got caught up in the 80s muscle era, and that was when it was just mindless action, and he sort of fell into that trap, which was unfortunate, really. But you know, he's great. I like both of them, but now in my later days, and now as we are now, I'm more intrigued if there's a Stallone project come out than an Arnie project. If that makes sense. But going back to the day, I'd say Arnie. I was more akin to Arnie. And you think Conan, Terminator, Predator, things like that. Do you know what I mean? Terminator and Terminator 2 are completely different films. Personally, I'm not a fan of T2, whereas Terminator felt like a slasher, which I loved. they are completely different. Yes, they're completely different films. Let me just jump ahead one in a minute. Yeah, they are. You know, they are. Yeah. I suppose it's a bit like Alien to Aliens, isn't it? Speed 2 is awful. No defending that, mate. Wait. Hold that thought. Can you tell the difference between Scottish and Irish accent? Well, there's not much of a difference. For me, there's not much. Yes, I can. Yes, there's a distinct difference for me between Scottish and Irish. Speed 2 is all. Oh, yeah, just watch this space. Watch the video when I do it. You'll be coming away saying, you know what, that's pretty good defence. You may not. I don't think Arnold put out a bad film in the 80s. Probably not. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I mean, I've not seen all of that Arnie's 80s fare, I will say. I've not seen... and I've not seen all Stallone's either. Yeah, believe it or not, I've not seen Commando. Not watched Commando. Because it looked like Predator without the Predator. I've not seen Raw Deal. Stallone, I've not seen Cobra. There are a lot of these films that didn't interest me at the time. I weren't overly intrigued by for some reason. I don't know why. It had to have a hook. It had to have something else to it for me to watch. Terminator was the sci-fi element. Predator was the sort of sci-fi element. Do you know what I mean? But when it just came to people running around action, you know, you had the Van Damme and the Seagal stuff as well, which were sort of like the sort of B-list versions of that stuff, and it all came into one for me, and I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. Your mum wants me to be her boyfriend. Says watch Commando. I will. I bought it. I bought it, and with the intent of watching it. Yeah, I just haven't got round to it. So I've got it. Picked it up on cheap Blu-ray. Matt says Cobra is a good film. Matt says Commando is a classic. Bal says Cobra is great. It must be if Bal's saying it's great because he's negative on a lot of films. He doesn't like a lot of stuff. So that must be like some sort of gold dust movie there. Cobra, is that okay? I think I've got Cobra. I've got some coughing. Sorry. Okay, I say I think I've got Cobra because I've got a. Sorry, I was just reading another message. I've got Cobra because I've got a Stallone box set, which Cobra is part of, but I just never watched it. I will watch them. I'll watch them at some point. Loved Commando. Watched it multiple times. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Twins, 1988 was funny. Arnold says, how can bullshit work? I haven't seen Twins for years. I haven't seen it for years and years. I never saw... He done another one, didn't he, with Danny DeVito? The one where he was pregnant. Can't remember the title. I've never seen that. Never seen that. I think the Irish accent sounds sometimes a bit like an American. Well, a lot of the Irish did go to America, didn't they? And a lot of parts of America were very Irish orientated. That's why in the 80s, you know, the Americans had a lot of support for the IRA over in Ireland, this sort of thing, because they were very much so. You're probably hearing something there, but for me, being English, for me, I don't. I hear Irish for Irish. I don't hear no American in it, or when I hear American, I don't hear Irish. Yeah, interesting. I mean, what about the? Do you get mistaken? Do you sometimes mistake South African for Australian? Because at times I have. Yeah, Junior, that's the one. Never seen Junior. But then thinking about him, I've never seen Stop or My Mum Will Shoot either. I know that that's meant to be a really, really bad film. Bao says Raw Deal is great, never gets talked about. That just got released this week, didn't it? Steelbook 4K, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But again, Raw Deal, not one that I've seen. There's all these like Arnie films that I haven't seen from that era, and you'd think that I would have done, but no, I haven't. Because there wasn't a hook. There wasn't a hook for me to watch it. That sort of hook of stuff that I was into. Yeah, strange, really. Yeah, South African does sound Australian. Only that Australian sounds more dramatic. Do you know what? I struggle. I do struggle with the Australian accent. As in, I don't particularly like it. It's a really horrible thing to say. I struggle with films that are Australian set because of the accent and Australian shows and this sort of thing. I find it a really, really difficult accent to get past. But then I struggle with the English accent as well in certain things, depending on what part of England that accent is from. Yeah, strange, isn't it? Really. There we go. I love all the 80s action films, my type of film. Is that the era that you primarily grew up in, then, Bao? Is that, I was born in like mid 70s. So, well, 76. Let's say born 76. And so the 80s were, a fantastic era for films for me. Can I do an American accent? I can do whatever accent you want me to do. Can I do an American accent? I'm thinking. See, if I was going to do Australian, I'd be like, "G'day, mate. G'day, mate." Does that sound Australian? Does that sound South African? What about if I do Irish? Let me do Irish. Let me do Irish, and let me tell you if that sounds like. Tell me if my Irish sounds like American to you, then. I can't do it while I'm on camera. Wait. I'm leaving now. Irish. No, I can't do it. I used to do Irish on the phone. I used to ring my dad up and I would do like this Irish accent. And I'd say to him that this is such and such from, the local police station, and that your son, me, has been arrested for whatever, and can you come down to the station and like pick him up, bail him out? And he was like, it surprised me at one point when my dad just said, no, I can't. But there you go. Is there a film you thought you would hate but now think it's really good? Okay, I can only jump to the latest film, which is Pearl. I watched Pearl a couple of days ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I hated X. I still don't like X as a film. And I watched Pearl, and because my wife wanted to watch it, so I said, "All right." I weren't feeling great, so I was quite happy to just lay on the sofa with anything on the TV, and I'd fall asleep to it. But Pearl, for me, it's a completely different type of film than what X was, in its setup, in its narrative, whereas X was more of a sort of had very much horror tropes to it in its setup. A group of people going to a cabin, killer, get killed one by one, Pearl was very much an exploration into how this character became who she is. So it was focused on this one individual and what drove her to become. And so in that, I thought, I thought I'm going to hate this film. I wasn't even going to watch it. All right. I probably said less than a week before, I'm not even going to watch that film. My intent was not to watch it. But when a wife said, I want to watch it, I was like, okay, let's watch it. And I enjoyed it. And I will pick up the physical copy of it. But I won't pick up X. Got no interest in revisiting that. I can handle Pearl as a standalone movie. What would you rather be, a police officer or a firefighter? Okay, I actually went for the police. I went for the police when I was 18 and a half, some time ago now, and I went away, done all the physical stuff. It was like a selection process at the time. I'd done all the physical side of it. I passed all that. Unfortunately, I wasn't selected, primarily because I was 18 and a half and my life experience at that point was practically zero, and they like people with life experience, and I just didn't have life experience to offer. So my choice would have been a police officer. Now, interestingly, my oldest brother was actually a London firefighter. I've got two brothers. One one was a firefighter and the other was a police officer in the British Transport Police. Now, both military before that. My idea to become a police officer was before my brother ever decided to. But my brother, who was the firefighter, he's now retired from it, but he is suffering a great deal of mental illness, with post-traumatic stress with it. He was at Grenfell Towers, pulling the bodies out of Grenfell Tower. When there was the tram crash in Croydon, he was at the Croydon tram crash, pulling bodies out of that, and it's had an unfortunate effect. I don't know what other stuff he's seen, but for me, the police officer would have been the way to go. But you got to remember, this is a long time ago now. The police has changed so much that I wouldn't be interested now in. Forget my age, but if I was that age now, I wouldn't have any interest in the police force, because it's just so much red tape. They're not even really worth much now. They don't, you know what I mean? They're not worth anything. They do nothing. And it's just the red tape that they're wrapped up in, and there's not enough of them. When the police force, when the police first came about, you got to think there was so many, that the idea of it was that you would have a police officer for every 1,000 people or something. Don't quote me on the numbers, but that was the logic of it, that you'd have and that's why you had police officers, beat officers that were on specific areas who worked this is in England anyway. If you're watching outside of England, it may have been different. We had police officers on their beats, so they were local police officers. Those days are gone. You think of the world's population. The world's population, right? If you go back to 1940, go back 80 years, right? And this planet's population was 2.5 billion people, right? You jump forward 80 years, and your world population now is 8.5 billion people. In 80 years, you've had that growth of people, right? That's for me just that's mind blown stuff there. That's mind blown territory that I'm stepping into with that, right? So you haven't got the police to manage in these urban areas. You ain't got the amount of police officers you require to do the job as it was originally conceived, right? And then you go on to things like pollution, all this sort of stuff, or your carbon footprint. cutting back on your carbon footprint, right? And no one wants to talk about the real issue, right? We're all driving around in cars. We're all, well, what do you expect us to do, right? And what do you expect to happen when the world population is increasing as vast as it is? What do you expect is going to happen to pollution? It's going to increase. There's no getting away from that. The problem isn't that we're you've got to look at the problem. You've got to take a step back. What is the cause of the problem, right? Okay, so too many cars on the road. Okay, why is that? Too many people own cars. Why is that? Too many people. You got to look at a problem, and you've got to solve this problem by taking a step back each time. If you're doing investigation, that's how you do it. You investigate, and because I do a lot of investigations at work into incidents and stuff like that, and you look at the initial thing, and then you take a step back. Why has that happened? What led to that to happen? And the world, the way it is now, with everything wrong with it, is people. Is the amount of people on this planet. It is oversaturated with people, too many people, food and that. The world's really, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. The world needs culling. The human race needs culling. That's horrible to say. But yeah, how do I get off on police officer onto that? Oh yeah, because of the amount. But yeah. Do you know where Harry Potter's house is in England? Do you live close to it? I don't know where Harry Potter's house is. No, I've never even seen. I've seen one Harry Potter film, and that's the first one. I wouldn't even care to know where his house is. Although I do know where Charlie Chaplin was born. He was born on Wharf Road, probably about 3 miles away from here. If that's of interest. Bow was born in 82. 80s toys, films, music will never be beaten. I was in Thingy the other day, Smith's Toys, whatever you want to call it. All right, and it's amazing that you've got a whole, Transformers are there, He-Man's there, all this stuff from the 80s is still there. It's fantastic. The longevity of that stuff is just, fantastic. And I totally agree with you. 80s films for me. That's where it was at its richest. Where filming, the film industry was at its richest. It was at its most vibrant. It had its most. The ideas were there, new ideas. You'd come out of the 70s, and you'd gone into this era of creativity, the likes of which hadn't been seen before. 80s music, yep. I still go back to 80s music. Love it. And 80s toys, yeah. Like I said. I was looking at Blaster the other day, the Transformer, and I said to my missus, I'll pick that up. I didn't pick it up. I've got to pick it up at some point. But if you remember Transformers, you had Soundwave, who turned into the Walkman, and in Transformers the movie, you had Blaster, which was the one turned into the little boombox. And I always wanted it as a kid when I had Transformer toys, and I never got it. But there's a Blaster out now, a new Blaster. It's only pretty small, but I may have to get it just because it fulfills that thing that I never had as a kid that I wanted. They were great. Masters of the 80s, yeah, I was born in 77, so I think we got the best of what 70s and 80s had to offer. Totally. Like I said, 76. Yeah, 70s were fantastic. 80s were fantastic. I think the 80s were better than the 70s. I was born in 76, so I missed out on a lot of it. But, still a lot of strong cinema from the late part when you consider that's where Jaws came about, where Alien came about in the latter part. But the 80s for me, just magical era. So, so inventive in what they've done. Ian, hi Ian, how are you keeping? Well, you ain't keeping very well. Look, Ian's had a COVID jab and he's suffering side effects. Laying out on his sofa, listening to me blabber on. I'm 2 hours and 10 minutes in. I was only popping in I don't know how long. It's very easy to just keep talking when people are asking questions. It's great. But I hope you're feeling better, Ian. Rest up. Yeah, what can I say? Yeah, take it easy till those side effects, you get over them. Matt's probably got them coming. Hi, Ian. Sorry to hear you got your side effects. Just had my jab earlier. No side effects yet. Yet being the operative word. Hi, Matt. Didn't have any before, but hopefully better now. We'll see. We'll see. Are they going to open them jabs up to the under 50s soon? I don't know. I don't know if I want another COVID jab. What have I had now? 3? Is that not enough? Do I need a 4th? Do I need to keep getting injected? I don't particularly like it. Not that I don't like getting I don't like getting injected. Who likes getting injected? You don't like it. But I'm not worried about an injection is what I mean. But you know what I mean. Had side effects with the first COVID jab, but nothing since. I don't think I've suffered side effects from any of them, apart from a sore arm. But there we go. I can't remember now. I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. I had 2 Pop-Tarts, actually, the fudge ones. I don't eat them often, but I'm partial to a Pop-Tart. Although I do find the strawberry ones very rich now. In my older age, I do notice that richness, and I don't like it. Michael's Movie Corner. Hey, AJ, hope you're well. Hi, Mike. How are you keeping? I did send Michael a parcel. I don't know if he's got it yet. He may not have done. I think there might have been a postage strike a day or 2 after I'd sent that. So he will get that. It's just something to complete his collection. So go and sub to Mike. I'm trying to get Michael up. I want to see Michael hit 100 subs, people. He's at 87 at the moment, if my recollection is correct. We need to get him up to that 100 mark. 100 and beyond for Michael. Let's do it. Your mum wants to be... No, I said, your mum wants me to be her boyfriend. I think the 80s music is awesome. I first heard 89's music in... 80s music, 80s I think it means, in movies and in Grand Theft Auto. I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight. Oh, 89. Was that from 89, was it? Yeah, there's... 80s music is just great, you know. I still go back to... It's just a fantastic era. The power ballad. Whatever happened to the power ballad? You know, some fantastic music. What's everyone's favourite James Bond song? Has anyone got a favourite James Bond song? Let me know. Because power ballad and that came back. I mean, I still, you know, Tina Turner with. I mean, I love film music anyway. So as soon as it's in a film, I love it. But Tina Turner's Thunderdome. We Don't Need Another Hero. You know, fantastic. The power ballad was fantastic. Starship and Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. Things like that. Wow, fantastic stuff. A lot of movies today still make references to 70s and 80s movies. They do, because it was just such a fantastic, rich, inventive era of cinema that seems to have, that they keep reaching back to. Haven't got it yet. We'll probably get it next week. Cheers again. Yeah, I did post it second class, Mike. Just be aware of that. Because it's not Northern Ireland and Ireland. The postage is horrendous. It cost me like nearly £8 to post that to you. I'm not complaining, mate. It's all right. As long as it goes to a nice home. And it completes your collection. That's fine. That's fantastic. So, Live and Let Die. Yes, Live and Let Die is a fantastic song. I like... Carly Simon one. I like Nobody Does It Better. There's a few. I don't know what I'd like the most. There's some great songs. Master of the 80s just subbed to Michael. That's great. Michael, you hear that? You can sub back. Where was I at? Sorry, I did skip some. I've only ever seen one James Bond, the newest one that came out. Wow. I'm shocked. I'm shocked, mate. Matt, you're watching, or anyone else watching, where would you suggest Michael starts if he was going to start watching James Bond? Would you go all the way back to Connery's, or would you tell him to start a little bit, later on, maybe with Dalton or with Pierce Brosnan, where would be your if you're because bear in mind that people, younger generation might not want to watch a film that was made in the 60s and that. So where would you recommend a starting point? Because obviously they're not continuity driven either. So what would you say? That's an interesting question. Do you know what I mean? That is quite an interesting question, actually. It's quite a good question. What recommendation would you give someone to start off on a James Bond journey? 80s also had the best synth music as well, like in the movie Beverly Hills Cop and Terminator. I wasn't heavy into synth, but yeah, I do. Some of it was pretty catchy from thingy. Top Gun soundtrack is fantastic. Yes, it is. Just sub to Michael's. Oh, we had that one. Done that. Goldfinger. Start at Goldfinger. What one is it then? Goldfinger on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now, I think on Her Majesty's Secret Service is a wholly underrated James Bond film. Yes, I don't particularly like Lazenby as James Bond, but I think that it's a fantastic film. It is a very good, strong film in the James Bond franchise. Have I seen Black? Oh, yeah. I don't know if you'd forgotten about this. Because I picked it up, didn't I? I picked up the DVD of Black Rain with the intent of watching it. So I'm going to lie to you now. Yes, I did. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. No, I haven't watched it yet. I remember picking up DVD because I was going to do it as one of those subscriber recommendation videos, weren't I? That I never sort of stopped doing because I didn't get many people interest. But I haven't watched it yet. I keep meaning to. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep talking until my wife gets in. Do you reckon she'll be in about 4? Or until after 4. So I'll keep it going till then. It's easy. I quite like this talking. Matt says Living Daylights. So, Matt, you've given 3 options there. Just one, mate. Just one for Michael. So, Michael, you're saying that you saw the latest James Bond film. That's the one that I never finished, that I switched off. That's the one where he dies at the end, isn't it? Title is No Time to Die. That's it. Yes, I still haven't got to the end of that film. I don't know what to say to that. Falling Down. Falling Down is a fantastic film. Joel Schumacher directed. Michael Douglas starring, and what's the old boy's name? Wow, my mind today isn't good. He was in, he's a famous actor, isn't he? Someone throw it up down the bottom. Alexa, who starred in the movie Falling Down? It's going to come to me.
Falling Down stars include Michael Douglas, Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall.
and Hershey.
How can I not remember Robert Duvall's name? Wow. He's great himself. He's a great actor. Falling Down, yeah, it's a good psychological sort of thriller in how society can affect someone and it's so true what the film does, and you just want to. It's like a wish fulfillment movie, isn't it? It's like a sort of, I wish I could do that when I'm in McDonald's. I wish I could not kill people, but you know what I mean. That sort of just stand up to society and say no, this is wrong. If you haven't seen Falling Down, watch it. 60s, 70s and 80s Bond films are where it's at for me. The newer ones, I can take or leave them. Bal says, I've never been a big James Bond. Dalton was my favourite. Dalton is my favourite James Bond. I'll always say that. I always have. Dalton is... The thing with Dalton is he was ahead of his time. It's what people didn't realise. Dalton came into it and he gave you this dark grittiness that you didn't see again until Daniel Craig. It gave you that to the character, and audiences weren't ready for that. They didn't want that yet because you'd just come out of the era of Roger Moore, which was all comedic, and audience, it was just ahead of his time. I'm not saying they're similarly, aesthetic. The aesthetic's completely different in the film, obviously, because when we got to Daniel Craig, it was more of it was very heavily influenced by the Bourne movies. So you had that sort of an aesthetic to them. But Dalton, I'll always say Dalton is my favourite Bond. I love him. I love Dalton in Bond. Saying that, I love Dalton in Blimmin' Hot Fuzz. I think he's hilarious in Hot Fuzz. I think he's fantastic. It's just think about it makes me laugh. Mark Shell. My apologies. Oh, look how red I've gone. Stop traffic with that. My apologies. That's a head cold that I had and came out in a cough. So what else, AJ, what else do you collect apart from physical media? Comic books. And sort of collectible figures and stuff like that. I've always been into comic books. I've always collected comic books from a very young age. When I was very young, I started off when I was little with the Beano and Dandy and things like that. Obviously, I never kept them. And then I sort of moved into the sort of the Marvel stuff with things like when Marvel publishing comics like Zoids. I don't know if everyone, people from the 80s who like Bow and Master of the 80s might remember Zoids, a fantastic toy line. They were like these robotic creatures driven by these little silver and gold men. But they were like dinosaurs, but robot looking. So don't think, but you had to build them. You had to build them at the same time. They were like models, but they weren't glued. They held together with these plastic caps. Sort of, and they were wind up and they'd move along, or they were battery operated with some of the bigger ones. Just look them up. They were fantastic, right? And if I could get hold of some of them today, I still would, because and I'm going on a tangent here, but some of the toys from the 80s like that and Transformers, I've got a lot of love for, because for me they were toys that you didn't just open and play with. You had to do something with them. You had to use your mind. In case of Zoids, you built them. Yeah, you had to build them before you could play with them. And in the case of Transformers, there was learning how to. So they taught you. They actually learned as you played. But comics. I came into the comic world and I started very young with comics. Now, I started work at the age of 11 and a half. And I don't mean I left school. Obviously, I was still in school, but I got this job in a pet shop. My dad used to go to a pet shop because we had a lot of animals as a kid. And and the pet shop guy said, "Look, this kid in here is moving on. Do I want a job in there?" Okay. I said, "Oh, yeah, all right." So, but this job was 7 days a week. 7 days a week, seriously. After school, I'd go down for an hour and a half. I'd like clean out the animals, feed them, water them, that sort of thing. It was all that sort of stuff I was doing. And then on a Saturday, I'd be down there in the morning for a few hours, and that's when the birds birds were fed daily, but cleaned out once a week. But the rabbits and all that stuff were cleaned out daily, and the mice and the hamsters daily. And the birds once a week. I'd do that on a Saturday morning, and I'd go away for a few hours, come back Saturday afternoon. I'd do the other animals, and then I was in on the Sunday because the animals still need feeding and looking after. And 7 days a week I'd go and do this. And I remember I'd be out with my mates playing, and it's like, oh no, I've got to go work now. And it gave me a little bit of pocket money in my pocket. And where I was working, Herne Hill, a comic shop opened over the road called Adventure into Comics. It was, and I'd already started collecting comics and trips up to London, but to have one less than 100 metres from where I worked, I was in there all the time. So I was collecting comics from then. And anyway, this job went on till I was 16. I stayed there till I was 16. And Christmas Day, I'd be down there. You know, no matter what day of the week it was, whether it was a holiday, I'd be down there because the animals needed looking after. And it did give me a fantastic work ethic for a young person to have. It was really good. So the comics came from them, and always been a lover of films, and I'd pick up the odd VHSs now and then started, and my money always went on comics and VHS tapes and other collectible bits from films like that I'd pick up in the Forbidden Planet and that. I've never smoked, so money didn't go there. I've never, very rarely did I drink alcohol, and I completely stopped when I was 21 anyway. So everything was just sort of, that was my sort of go-to stuff. And comics, film collectibles, action figures and things like that. I don't get complete lines of action figures. Just the ones that I like the look of, I'll pick up. As opposed to I must have everything from that wave of Marvel or things that I don't work like that. With comics, the only comic that I get all the time is Punisher. Otherwise I will drop in and out of runs of comics depending on who's writing and whether there's any interest. So my tastes in comic have changed over the years. I'm not as knowledgeable now as what I was then with the newer stuff and that. There we go. I hope that answered your question. Did ramble on a bit. I want that burger on the advert. Yes, that was a lovely looking burger. The images never look quite like what you get, do they? But then you probably wouldn't want that burger in the image because it probably isn't. There's probably stuff in it that you wouldn't actually eat. Because where they like when they do an advert for cereal, it's like the milk is actually like a glue or something, isn't it? To give you that lovely white sort of thingy. Who remembers, is it copy decks? Who remembers the glue copy decks in school in the 80s where you had the pot and you had the brush and you'd wipe it all over your hands? Where's my hand? And then you'd peel it off like it was skin. Anyone from the 80s remember that? Val says, Dalton had lots of charm. Craig had none. Dalton's my favourite. What can I say? Dalton was fantastic. Craig, I'll be honest, I don't mind some of his films, but I haven't got through the last one. I've not watched it. Master of the 80s says, Zoids were brilliant. Tommy released some fantastic stuff in the 80s. They did. I remember once for my birthday, I got Zoidzilla. That being the primary good Zoid, the primary blue Zoid, which was like Godzilla. And it was big. Well, for me, it was big. I was probably smaller. Now it's probably about, I don't know, it's probably tiny like that or something. But anyway, so I got it for my birthday. Very, very happy. Very happy. I went to school. Came back from school, and my brother had built it for me. Because he was being nice. He built it for me. I was livid. I was so angry. Because for me, the great part about Zoids was building them. I used to enjoy building them. So that part had been taken away from me. Never forgiven him for that. No, I have. But I still remember it. And then you had Rhino Redhorn, which was like the Triceratops, I think it was, or a rhino. No, it's in the name, Rhino Redhorn. It's like a rhinoceros, wasn't it? And that was like one of the primary baddies. And they were fantastic. They really were. Zoids were great. If they got re-released today, I'll tell you, I'd have to buy a couple and build them up. I loved them. And I remember the comic. I did read all the comics, and it ended like mid-flow. It just ended. It got cancelled, and they said, "Oh, we'll be back with a special or something like that," and it never happened. So we never got an ending to the comic. And Derek's here from Pure Hangout over in the United States. Derek's got a great channel. If anyone's not subbed, he is. He's doing 31 days of Halloween at the moment, so hats off to him for that, because I can't do it. But I will say that I like the way you've done it. with your sort of Halloween advent calendar, so you don't know what you're getting. And I like how you have thrown in, you know, there are films in there like Arachnophobia, Practical Magic, so it's not all the video nasties. So I could probably do it like that if I consider films that are not horror-esque, you know. So I'm not delving into that every day. And I honestly didn't think of it like that. I won't do it. I won't do Halloween 31 Days of Halloween anyway, but I never thought of it like that. And I just think you've got a fantastic way of doing it. Very good. Matt saying hello. Master 8 saying hello. Hello, fellas. Look at that. All my across the pond friends in one place. Yeah, where have you been? What's the time over there at the moment, Derek? It's morning, isn't it? It's got to be morning. Yeah, it's morning. You're 8 hours behind me or something, aren't you? Yeah. Derek has a brilliant channel and is one of the nicest fellas on YouTube. Yeah, I totally agree. He's great. And what a moustache. So what I'm going to do is, once I've grown out the beard, when I get rid of the beard, I am going to leave the tash, and I will be coming to Derek for some advice on the moustache. No, I won't. But Derek is fantastic. Great channel. Very nice fella. Derek says 9:55 and he's just finished breakfast. What are you having for breakfast? Let me know. We'll do a top 10. Joe Grant says we'll do a top 10 of TV series and movies. Great chat and very interesting. What do you mean? Will we do a top 10 of movies and TV? Is that what you mean? I don't. I've often thought it's one thing I've never done on the channel is a top 10 films, because I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what to do. Derek says, appreciate the kind words, making me blush. If you grow your moustache a bit thicker, you might be able to hide it. I say that in jest. I'm not saying that nastily. He's a great guy. So yes, we'll do a top 10 of two. Yeah. Explain to me, Joe. Sorry, but yeah, I've not done a top 10 films because I find it a very daunting list to put together. TV series maybe a bit easier. Have you seen Pacific Heights starring Michael Keaton? Yes. I can't remember it. Can't remember it at all. Appreciate kind words, make me blush. Homemade pancakes topped with butter, peanut butter, and syrup. That sounds partly nice. Partly nice. I say that because it's the peanut butter part. I love peanut butter. Right? Crunchy peanut butter. I'm not smooth, but only as peanut butter. I can't eat peanut butter flavoured. I don't like peanuts, believe it or not. And I cannot eat peanut butter flavoured like sweets and things like that. But peanut butter in a sandwich or something like that, I love. But only as peanut butter on toast. I don't know about putting it on top of on pancakes with syrup. So we're talking maple syrup there, I'm assuming. But pancakes, butter, maple syrup, lovely. Also, the other thing I don't get, the other thing that is this jam or jelly, as you call it in the States, jelly and peanut butter mix. How does that work? That's a mystery to me, and I'm scared to try it. I mean, I take it, I'll just mix, you know what I mean? It's just a bit of jam and a bit of peanut butter on the same thing, but you get jars of it actually mixed, don't you, I think? That's such a strange combination. Has anyone else tried that? And black coffee. Dr. Impossible Counterpunch says Robert Duvall. So I'm not sure if Dr. Impossible Counterpunch is hello, but you might be watching delayed because Robert Duvall was mentioned a little while ago. Love peanuts, especially dry roasted, but don't like peanut butter that much. No, I love peanut. I can eat peanut butter out of the jar. Crunchy. I don't like smooth peanut butter, but I don't really like peanuts. I'm not a nut lover at all. You know, I don't love nuts. He says, I'm bloody quicker than Alexa. I had to, Robert DeVal, it just went out of my mind. I just couldn't get the name. Bad, really. The mixed jars are gross. Just a novelty for kids. Rarely do adults use it. Okay, all right. All right. So you don't reckon it then? It is a strange combination. The kids like it then. Just you know, jam and or jelly as you call it. Oh, but then you call jelly is Jello to you, isn't it? I think like proper jelly, wobbly jelly is Jello. If I'm right, if I'm not mistaken. Jelly. So jam is jelly, jelly is Jello. We have jam and jelly. Yeah. So is jam not a word? Is jam? Does jam? It's a really weird question. Does jam exist as a word in America? And if so, what is jam? If jelly is jam and Jello is jelly, what is jam to you? I'm just trying to learn. I like Snickers, formerly Marathon. I don't like Snickers or Marathon. Yeah, it's. I'm not a chocolate lover. I don't like chocolate. Believe it or not. I like dark chocolate. But I won't buy a chocolate bar and eat chocolate. I'm awful for sweets though. I love sweets. You know, proper. You know, I can go to a pick and mix section and pick sweets. I love sweets. But chocolate bars and that, I'm not a great lover. I will eat dark chocolate, but if I do have chocolate, it has to come out of the fridge. Yeah, it has to come out of the fridge. I don't mind something like you know, I'll eat stuff like Milky Way because it's just chocolate coated, and I'll eat Crunchy because it's primarily honeycomb. But you know, a bar of chocolate, like, do you want a bar of Cadbury's Dairy Milk? No, not really. No, I won't eat it. But dark chocolate, well, like Bourneville or something. I love that. Matt says Cadbury is the best. Oh, Snickers is lovely. Sorry, I will come back up, Derek. I've accidentally gone below. Snickers is lovely. Love peanut and jam. And Turkish Delight is one of my favourite chocolates, but nobody else. I like Turkish Delight. I've got a nice box of Turkish Delight down in the cupboard that was brought back for me from Turkey just a couple of weeks ago. I haven't opened them yet, though. They're all different types. Derek said, yeah, it's a staple in kids' diet. 2 slices of bread, one side's bread with jelly, and the other peanut butter, then sandwiched together. Do you know what? I'm going to try that. Just out of curiosity, I am one day, when I've got bread in the house, I don't often have bread in the house, don't eat a lot of bread, I'm going to make that just to see what it's like. Without peanut butter, yep. Try some Anton Berg, my son. Marzipan and rum sweets, but marzipan isn't acquired. I love marzipan. I love it. A friend of mine at work, when I see him, has acquired me a big lump of, well, it's about yay. Oh, there's the camera. It's about yay big of marzipan. It's coated in chocolate, but very thin layer of chocolate, so it's all marzipan. Big thing. Cost about 10 quid. Came from a garden centre, but I love marzipan. But I'm not too sure on the rum side of it, because I'm not a lover of alcohol. I don't drink. I don't really have anything. You know, even when it's sweet tasting, it's like not sure on it. Turkish Delight, too scented for me. I've got cherry flavoured Turkish Delight in the freezer. When I say that, is that I bought the cherry flavoured bars, Turkish Delight, but I chopped them up into little tiny bits, froze them, and then just eat them in little bits every now and then. which is quite nice. Yeah, I don't mind Turkish delight. It's all right. The Kendall mint cake. I've not tried that. But I am partial. I never got an answer. Derek, are you still watching? I never got my answer to jam and America. What is jam? Is jam a word in America? If so, what is it if you call jam jelly? Still waiting on that. I'm going to Google it. People. Unless someone gives me the answer first. They're probably prepared different, but I know there must be intentionally different. Jelly is a tad bit gelatinous, holds its shape. Jam is looser, near pourable. Okay, so does your jelly or jam, is it smooth, or do you have seeds in it? Because over here we get seedless jam and seeded. I'm more partial to seeded jam, like raspberry or strawberry with seeds in, but then you get the seedless ones, which are more akin to jelly, I suppose. So is that a thing as well? All these little interesting tidbits that you learn from just talking nonsense on the internet. Jam. Is jam. So you're saying that, okay, so what do you use jam for then in America? Is it like cooking ingredient? Is it used in something else then, as opposed to, do you see what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I'm just looking it up. I think I've asked a question too wrong. I'm going to wait for Derek to come back. Isn't jam called preserve? Marmalade as well. Do you have marmalade in thing? Isn't jam called preserve in the US? It might be, yeah. Jam is a preservative, isn't it? So much sugar in it that it doesn't really go off if it's left sealed. Do you like Tunnock's marshmallow tea cakes? Yes. What about the ones with a little bit of jam in it? You get a little bit of jam in some, don't you? And then you get the ones which are not. They're nice. They're nice. How do you eat them? Because for me, I have to separate the biscuit bit from the marshmallow bit. I just eat the biscuit bit. And then I try and peel the remaining chocolate off of the marshmallow, so I'm just left with the marshmallow on its own, which I then pop in my mouth and sort of suck out the jammy bit before I eat the rest. Love those marshmallow cakes. Tunnocks are indeed heaven. Wagon wheels. As this conversation's gone from films and that to like treats. Wagon wheels. Wagon wheels are nice. I love a wagon wheel, but again, it has to be a jam one. Have you tried the not strawberry? Strawberry is a standard wagon wheel, isn't it? You get non-jam ones, strawberry ones, and then you get the. Have you tried the orange flavored ones? They're quite nice. Very rich though. The orange jammy stuff inside is very rich. And like I said, as I'm getting older, I notice, whereas I wouldn't notice when I was younger, I'm now like, it's really rich. Very rich. It's age. I eat 2 packs of Tunnocks in 38 minutes. I'm a greedy git and slim. Wow. I wish I was still slim. Do you know, my wife moaned at me the other day because I opened up, we bought this bag of toffees from Sainsbury's. It's like a mixed pack, and you get all different types of, all different flavours of toffees in there. Like, there's a red foil wrap one, green, silver, and gold. And I think one is like, the red one's like treacle toffee. And the thing is, what she doesn't like about me with sweets is that when I eat sweets, I won't chew a sweet. I can take these toffees, I stick them in my mouth, and then I'll just go, and I've swallowed the toffee whole. And she's like on at me going, "Oh, you're not having any more because you're wasting them." I'm going, "Well, how am I wasting them? They're ending up in my stomach. That's where they get you, but you're not chewing them. You're not." Of course, I'm not chewing them because, you know, that's how I sort of, you know, in my mind, that's how I stop my teeth from, you know, rotting somewhat, taking in any sugar onto my teeth. I just pop the sweet in my mouth and I swallow it whole. And I can get through a whole bag of these toffees in about your 38 minutes and just unwrap. And they're so moist. Just swallow them whole. Yeah, I'm really bad like that. Master of Eight is I just stick the whole thing in my gob. Yes, Jaffa cakes. Jaffa cakes, I have to eat round the edge, then peel the orange out, and then eat the bottom bit, and then again peel off all the chocolate until I'm just left with the orange, and then suck that until it dissolves. Marmalade is found in our international food section, British. I'm not a fan of marmalade. What about the other stuff? What's that horrible Marmite? Marmite. Does anyone like Marmite? Biscuit or cake? I'm partial to both. Yeah, we call jam preserves too, interchangeable, I think. Maybe preserves are chunky out with the fruit. Jam is smoother, maybe. Nutella was another go-to. I used to stuff that like a kid from Willy Wonka. I never liked Nutella because it had that. All right, I know I like peanut butter, but I like chocolate spread, but not Nutella because of the nutty taste that it had. I wasn't ever a Nutella lover. Matt loves Marmite. I don't. I think it's hideous stuff. Has anyone ever tried Vegemite? Popular in Australia? No. Put the word mite on the end and I'm not partial. No, I don't know. Veggie and mite, two words that just don't really go together for me at all. No, you ain't. I don't know what's being said there. It's a text message from my wife. Probably moaning at me. I'll have to go and put kettle on in a minute to make her a cup of tea. Inevitably. But yeah, so almond slices is my go-to every time. Just the jam and the delicious taste of the almond in my mouth. It's a revelation of taste. Nice. But Bao, I'm on Bao's side with this one. Marmite is vile. Yes, I can't deny that. Marmite is hideous. Now, what I can hear outside... Oh, I hear my bins. It was bin day today. I haven't stepped outside at all. The bin men came this morning early. And I can hear the bins being pulled in. That means the wife's home. Because I ain't pulled it. So I'll get nagged at because I ain't pulled the bins in. Custard creams. Custard creams are nice. I'm partial to a ginger nut. I like ginger nuts. They're nice. So everyone, I'm going to have to leave now. I'm going to have to call it a day, unfortunately. It's been fantastic. It's been lovely. I appreciate all the comments and the humour. And it's been good. It's been a good chat. It's been, you know, and silly chat. Talking about silly nothingness. But it's been very enjoyable. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Yeah, it's been good. So I'm going to get away. I'm going to end this chat, unfortunately, because like I said, she's coming upstairs and her job is rather a lonely job. She don't get a lot of people to talk to all day long. So when she comes in, I then have to suffer it all night. I have to feign interest in what she has to say. And that's it. So Marmite should be banned under the UN's toxic list of foods. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it on that amusing note. Fantastic comment. I'm going to start coughing anyway. So I shall see you all later. 2 hours and 50 minutes of nonsense talk. Thank you very much. And I believe that I'm going live with Matt on Sunday. I did share it on my channel. Matt's got it on his. He's got a few guests in, fantastic guests as well. Alan from Kermit's Ghost. So be sure to come over and check that out. Can't remember the other one. Trevor from, I can't remember the name of the channel. Just check it out. We'll be there. So I'll see you later all. Hello. Take care all and goodbye.